self-aggrandizing, true Brit news arc, why something needs to be done wrong, stupid. I'm specifically going to be talking about counselling and psychotherapy, in particular, or specifically about the implications or the not so much the impacts, but the influence then and the consequent impacts of Freud, Sigmund Freud, who he was. Morning. I keep saying that, I keep catching me out, I keep saying good morning, and I mean to say good night, and rising. But anyway, I'm not mentioning it. Okay. Just to say, I think it's about the 6th of July. Monday. Okay, right, so Freud. Somebody's gone and looked through his memoirs. Somebody's connected to his estate. So they're releasing stuff. And I think it goes hand in hand with a number of disclosures that are being made, particularly since 2021. There's been loads, and that's, alongside the Epstein files and the Raines list that are all out there, by the way. And just to sort of say in this post, yeah, it's for entertainment purposes. I might not put anything up to validate, what I usually do, and put little bits up there just to validate what it is that I'm saying, in support of what it is that I'm saying. It's not so much claims, the more pronouncements. So when I say that Freud was working for paedophiles, was one himself, and pimped out his own kids, possibly was and probably was abused himself, and he was working for the agenda. Now, again, I've put it very simply and broadly here, those terms, the implications of which, though, because his work has gone on to influence, and that of his nephew, actually, Edward Bernays is his nephew, who was the founder of Netflix. So Freud's work and that of his nephew, as I say, it reaches into every aspect of society. It's gone on to influence, the education system and our attitude towards children and our attitude towards healing and health. And I'm saying quality and positive healing and health, because I think that's one of the implications for counselling and psychotherapy in the 21st century, in 2026. I think it has failed and is continually failing. Yes, bless. You're right. Give thanks. All right, good. And continually failing to have an ideology and a framework and an attitude and a philosophy that is truly, genuinely and authentically concerned with the improvement of emotional, relational, psychological, emotional, spiritual health, wealth and well-being. I've been convinced for some time that it's been failing, and given very recent sell-offs, purchases, whatever you want to call them, of institutes. I'm thinking of one in particular, one where I trained. So if you want to see where it is that I trained and through which university it is that they were affiliated with, or that they got their awards from and through, please feel free, and I have no doubt that people have been doing that anyway, which I don't mind. I don't really care. Again, this is a public notice. I'm putting out public notices, so people can't say that they didn't know, they weren't informed, they weren't aware. Because it turns out that some of the information that I do put out, people have known for ages, years, decades, centuries in some instances, and they've passed that knowledge on, that information on, through their secret societies that they're in, and that they initiate their children, grandchildren and great-grandchildren into. They're aware too. That's why everybody's gone stum. That's why everybody's overly exuberant and celebrating things like, getting off on football when the rest of the world is burning. It's in distress. It's in turmoil. Children are going missing and being raped. Not just by Pakistani male grooming gangs. Not at all. In fact, it seems as though potentially they have gotten their information about how to groom successfully and get away with it. When he jumped in front of the vehicles, I'll do this one now. From what I'm going to describe as white Caucasians, okay, or pale-faced Caucasians. I'll say white Europeans, white Caucasians actually, in this instance, because we are beginning to now realise and appreciate that white Caucasians and those people that call themselves Indians or Pakistanis or from the Indian subcontinent, they're not actually Indians. They may well be Pakistanis. There may well be Indians, or rather, because it's a country that's been created by the British. They set up some tea company, to as a front, so that they can do trade. Not just in tea, but in narcotics and people, as part of their colonialisation or colonialising operations. So, I'm gonna have to pause it here, if I can stitch it together. Sure. I'll carry on going for a bit. So what are the implications? So yeah, there's this sell-off that's going on. Institutes that are concerned with our understanding and, if you like, treatment of or support of mental health, put simply. I think psychotherapy is much more sophisticated than that. And I'd like to believe, I don't believe, I know that the way that I practice has not been at odds with the, I would say it's not been at odds enough. But I will say that as a tutor, as a lecturer, in counselling and psychotherapy, I become aware that during my various tenureships, teaching, counselling, psychotherapy, social work, and things around difference and diversity too, actually, that I was being heavily monitored and restricted about what it is that I was saying. Now, what I was saying didn't fall outside any particular curriculum or learning outcomes or learning targeted learning that was meant to be achieved, but I did include much more than what the curriculum may have would have needed. Now I'm going to pose curriculum, what it would have needed. That's what I'm going to come back to. Yes, we ought to do a rewind button a little bit so you can see where you are, and then you can punch back in. Because I've forgotten what it is that I was going to say. I said it 3 times. So, but anyway, psychotherapy, Freud, who Freud was working for, and the implications, and institutes selling off, and some of them are being bought as well, some of these institutes. But I think the people that have been running counselling and psychotherapy, I'm predicting that they're going to leave, or they're going to sell up, they're going to shut down shop, a bit like the GPs had done in 2021, 2020, whenever it was. They have all disappeared. They've all retired, after making a fortune. Now, particularly, the other thing to say about Freud, it's been revealed through his papers, through his memoirs, through his research, or whatever it is, his notes that he was taking, that he was a Zionist. And that's right, I was talking about how some of the challenges that I faced, and I didn't feel as though I'd pushed hard enough, and I felt as though I was being not heavily, but sufficiently being scrutinised for some of the things that I was importing to make the way that I train, specific and unique to me, which is one of the things that it's almost like a requirement of a tutor or a lecturer in counselling and psychotherapy, to bring your own take on the theories that you're drawing from, to illustrate, techniques, ideas, processes, ways of engaging therapeutically with patients, with clients, with service users, whatever it is that we want to call them, we've chosen to call them. So, go down this way, I think. So yeah, I am in the process, as I would have mentioned in previous posts, of talking about a new blog, or whatever it is you call them, videos that is called the Unhinged Psychotherapy. Very aptly timed and named, I think, as well. And I think the timing, I've been doing it over the last few months, and I've got 4, possibly 5 episodes. And I think I need to include this idea. I do touch on it, actually, the idea of counselling and psychotherapy needing to be fit for purpose in the 21st century, and given what it is that we've undergone, what it is that we've endured, what it is that we've gone through as a world since 2019, again, which it turns out that the institutes, the people that run counselling and psychotherapy and guide it and move it in various directions they knew all about it, and also they knew all about it, and they knew because and I suppose there's something up by its absence in saying anything about what it is that we've endured over these last 6 years as a profession. And I don't see any writing about it in terms of like the trauma that's been caused, and why that might have happened, and the best ways to support people that have gone through it. So I'll be saying more about that in that post. So not much news that I'm reporting on today. There's lots of news going on, lots of things happening in the world. But that's it for today. Till the next time, may your ERP and your spirituality remain strong. I've got